What's up guys, Chris VA Travels, and I've got a pretty good one today. I'm at Sherwood Forest, home of our 10th president, John Tyler. And I'm down here in Charles City, kind of halfway between Richmond and Williamsburg, on the north side of the James River. And yeah, here you go, 10th president. And we're right near Fort Pocahontas. They've got a Civil War reenactment, June 4th and 5th, it looks like. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take off. I actually already done the house tour. I came back out here to get my camera. And real quick, I want to give a shout out to Billy Molyneux, new Patreon subscriber. Thank you, sir. Go check out his YouTube channel. And he's got some pretty cool videos, some pretty cool models of Gettysburg, Antietam, and so forth. So, yeah, pretty good stuff. Go check it out. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and walk the grounds. And over here is the family pet cemetery. And John Tyler's horse named the General is buried over here. So you can see all the little graves of all the dogs and cats. And to let you know, we're off of Route 5, which is the John Tyler Highway. It was an old, originally Indian trail. Turned into just a colonial trail for horse and buggies and whatnot. And then after John Tyler's presidency, when he moved out here, he turned it into an official highway. So, epitaph for John Tyler's favorite horse. Here lie the bones of my old horse, General. So to give you the backstory, to go way back, this land was first patented 1616. It was called Smith's Hundred. And hundred is an old English term for just a parcel of land. And the original house in the center was built sometime in the 1700s. I can't give you an exact date, but John Tyler purchased it 1842 while he was in the office. Moved here after his term. He renovated it, and one of the reasons why it doesn't look like one of your traditional kind of Tidewater, Virginia plantation homes is because his second wife was from New York, and she was involved in the restoration and kind of put her touches on it. So, yeah, this plaque number 2 is just talking about this entranceway that was built in the 1840s. And you may have heard it mentioned that also President William Henry Harrison, his family owned the property, but they found out that that's actually not true. So just to let you know that. But William Henry Harrison was actually born about 5 miles away at Berkeley Plantation. And yeah, this area is a hotbed if you're into historical homes, old plantation houses. Yeah, you've got Shirley Plantation, Berkeley Plantation, Westover, Piney Branch. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. I'll mention real quick, he was originally vice president, of course, under William Henry Harrison. John Tyler was nicknamed his accidency because, of course, William Henry Harrison died a month after taking office. And yeah, John Tyler kind of fell into the job. He was also the first president to then not have a vice president underneath him. So take a walk over here. And to let you know, this is the longest wood-framed house in the country. It's 301 feet. So obviously I told you the center is original. Over to the left, you've got a kitchen. I don't know the date on it. I'll get to that later. But anyway, so the reason it's so long is that John Tyler wanted to throw parties, and he built these hyphens in between the two originally, which were outer buildings. And yeah, so he could throw parties and he could have dances, have balls. And there was a dance called the Virginia that was popular at the time. And yeah, so anyway, that's why it's so long. First president to have a wife pass away while he was in office. First president to get married while in the office. Yeah, he had a total of 15 kids. Between 2 different women. And yeah, I'll tell you a crazy fact is a lot of people might know this, but John Tyler, who was born in 1790, has a living grandson. Yeah, it sounds crazy. So yeah, like I say, he had 15 kids. He was still having kids after his presidency. His wife was 30. His second wife was 30 years younger than him. So he had a child when I want to say 68. He was in his late 60s, and that son ended up having a child while he was in his 70s. And so that child, the grandson that's still alive, is now 94 years old. He lives in Richmond. He used to live in this house for the longest time. So it's kind of pretty crazy. All right, so back here was supposed to be his cemetery. He had planned on being buried here, but when the Civil War broke out, he sided with the Confederacy. He was actually appointed to the Confederate Congress, but he actually ended up dying before he took a seat. He died January 1862. And at the time, Charles City was under Union control, so he ended up being buried at Hollywood Cemetery. So, just to tell you, and I think I've saw this one on the map. Yeah, and John Tyler, he was, to tell you a little bit about him, he was born down here in Charles City. He was born at Greenway Plantation, which is about 5 miles west on Route 5. Family members still live in the house. You can see it from the road. It's on private property, so of course you can't go up to it. These are bathrooms. In case you want to see the bathrooms. And then he also in the 1820s he built Woodburn Plantation, which is a few miles away. And you can't access that. It's privately owned and it's off the road. But yeah, so some history on that. Oh yeah, so he wasn't a very popular president. He was born during that interwar period where there's kind of not a lot going on. And yeah, he, like I mentioned earlier, he kind of fell into the vice presidency. He was a Whig, but he kind of really wasn't a Whig. He joined the Whig Party just because he disagreed with Andrew Jackson. And so once he kind of accidentally became the president, Henry Clay, who was kind of basically the head of the Whig Party, disagreed with a lot of his actions. He was kind of ostracized, so then he was known as the man without a party. And actually, that's where the name Sherwood Forest came from, is that, okay, this is the overseer's house, 1820. Small little house. And yeah, I guess I'll kind of loop around, come back here, and something kind of modern they built back here. I don't know if they have weddings or events or whatever. Where was I? Oh, so the name Sherwood Forest came from, So the name Sherwood Forest came from Henry Clay, because after John Tyler had served his term, Henry Clay had given a derogatory speech saying, there goes John Tyler, political outlaw, back to his own personal Sherwood Forest. And then John Tyler liked the name, and there you go, that's where it came from. Oh, and also there were, I think there were 80 different types of trees that he had imported, planted here and whatnot. So I think that might have been part of the reasoning as well. A shingle maker, 1878. And pretty, I guess you put your foot on that or something and to power it. Made by Lane something Montpelier. And walk around, check out these buildings. Number 17, and they give you a little brochure with all the little stop numbers to give you a little information on each one of these little sites. Smokehouse, 1745. And yeah, your typical smokehouse, cure hams, so on and so on. I don't know if I mentioned, there's some terraces they go down to. I'll just walk over to this building right here. They go down to the James River. And you've got, looks like this was once in bloom. All your, of course, magnolia trees. Also throw out there this plantation, so there are between 40 and 60 slaves on the property. And this is number 15, the Garden House, 1845. Garden House, I guess it's kind of the latrine, whoops, the necessary. Kind of interesting name. Yeah, there's definitely some old trees back there. You can tell it's kind of aftergrowth back there. There's a couple big trees, but crepe myrtles. And I'm surprised they don't have a walking trail going down to the river. But, all right. Oh, so yeah, to tell you the truth, I'll just tell you about the slaves, is that during the Civil War, they had dispersed, and many of them went to the Hampton area. And yeah, this is the back of that kitchen I was telling you about. And this thing, it goes back to the 1680s. Bell here, I guess. You ring that when dinner's ready. I don't know. Although I'm sure they ate over there. All right, so I'm gonna walk over here now. Number 18, and this is where they stored wine. It was originally a tobacco house. Goes back to 1760s. So very old. They've got it locked up. I wouldn't mind sticking my head in there, but yeah, that's a very old building. Oops. A couple other random notes. John Tyler was a musician. He played the violin. His second wife played music as well. Okay, a couple of these are still in bloom. Oh, and y'all walk down there, see what that is. Oh, when I had mentioned the slaves earlier, looks like, okay, there's a sundial over there. Small little garden, good shot of the front of the house. Little fan out front. Oh, so I'd mentioned, speaking of slaves, that the house was under Union occupation twice. Anyway, Union troops had ransacked the house, attempting to burn it down. They had put a bale of hay inside, lit it on fire. And a slave lady inside, I guess, pulled a little bale of hay out, saving the house from being burned. Well, it's gated off, but it looks like at one time there was a little walking trail. All right. A couple other things to mention about John Tyler. Some positives from his presidency. He was president. Florida was added as a state. He annexed Texas. That was a big one. Tyler, Texas, named after him. Yeah, that long hyphen that was added. Couple statues up there, and over here a shagbark hickory. All right. Yeah, there's definitely an old tree right there. Oh, and this building originally what was an office. I'll just walk over here. See a couple markers. big tulip poplar over here. Pretty interesting plants. Yeah, if you come out here, bring bug spray. I see a dirt road down there. Might be a driveway to another residence. But, oh, and I just read the James River. It's about a mile ahead. And it's pretty interesting. This marker number 8, it's the entrance to the Mexico Road. And it was the entrance to the original road used back in the early 1600s by the first settlers. And it was also used by Jeb Stuart's cavalry during the Civil War. That's where he entered. That law office going back to 1820 that I had mentioned. And over here is the milk house, or basically the dairy. This wooden box contains a hard carved porcelain stone used to purify water. All right, cool. See, it's kind of ventilated up there. And over here is going to be, actually, what is this? Oh, a servant's house. It was moved to its present location. 1978, it used to be near Moss Banks. The house was constructed 1790 to 1830, I guess. That's what it was. Your entrance here, you've got the stepping block to get on and off your little horse and buggy. Tie your horse up. Some lattice work up there, dormer windows. And I believe I read these sculptures were given it as a wedding gift. All right, guys, that's going to be it for Sherwood Forest. Not to be confused with the Sherwood Forest up in Stafford County that was owned by the Fitzhughs. And yeah, so anyway, as always, if you like these kinds of videos, like and subscribe, and see ya.